Many holidays are celebrated across multiple countries. Ramadan and the Prophet Muhammad's birthday are observed every year by Muslims around the globe, just as Christmas and Easter are marked by Christians worldwide. But Thanksgiving is a truly American holiday, and as America has grown, so has its Thanksgiving celebration, which now encompasses nearly every aspect of American life. Thanksgiving is celebrated on the fourth Thursday of November every year. The centerpiece of the celebration is a large traditional dinner, usually shared with friends and family, consisting of dishes indigenous to the Americas. This dinner commemorates a feast of thanks celebrated 400 years ago by the first European settlers in America, members of the Plymouth Plantation Colony in Massachusetts. The Plymouth Colony was established by 100 English settlers known as Pilgrims in 1620, and the harsh winter that year killed half of their number. In the autumn of 1621, they decided to give thanks for their first successful harvest by feasting for 3 days. This original feast was prepared by the only 4 adult Pilgrim women to survive the winter, and guests included the 50 surviving Pilgrims as well as 90 Native Americans, invited in order to thank them for the assistance they had given to the colony during its challenging early days. Tisquantum, a Patuxet Indian now more commonly known as Squanto, had taught the Pilgrims how to fish and grow corn, and Massasoit, a leader of the Wampanoag tribe, had given food to the colonists during that first difficult year. On October 3, 1789, President George Washington created the first official Thanksgiving Day by proclamation, but Thanksgiving only became a national holiday in the United States due to the efforts of one woman, Sarah Josepha Hale. Sarah Hale was born in Newport, New Hampshire in 1788. She was one of the first female novelists in America, as well as one of the first to ever write a book about slavery. In 1837, she became the editor of a magazine called Godey's Lady's Book, at that time the largest and most influential magazine in the U.S., and she remained at the magazine for over 40 years. Hale began advocating for a national holiday of Thanksgiving in 1846, but it took 17 years before her efforts proved successful. She finally convinced President Abraham Lincoln to establish a national holiday in 1863, and Thanksgiving has been celebrated annually in the United States ever since. The centerpiece of the Thanksgiving holiday is the Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving meals are traditionally attended by family and friends, and consequently, the Thanksgiving holiday weekend is the busiest travel period of the year in the U.S., with millions crisscrossing the country to be with their loved ones for the celebration. The traditional main course of Thanksgiving dinner is turkey. For Thanksgiving, the bird is usually served roasted and stuffed, but in some parts of the country, most notably the southern United States, the turkey is sometimes deep fried, or even served as a turducken, in which a chicken is stuffed into a duck, which is then stuffed into a turkey and deep fried. Not for the faint of heart. The other traditional courses for the Thanksgiving meal are all dishes indigenous to North America, or first introduced to Europeans upon their arrival in the New World. Potatoes, usually mashed, corn, and squash. A tart sauce made from cranberries is the traditional Thanksgiving condiment, and the meal usually concludes with pumpkin pie for dessert. Not surprisingly, as a result of this menu, Americans reportedly eat more food on Thanksgiving than any other day of the year. The National Turkey Federation, a trade organization representing the turkey industry, has presented the President of the United States with a live turkey for Thanksgiving every year since 1947. In 1987, Ronald Reagan was the first president to jokingly grant the donated turkey a presidential pardon, and the tradition has been continued by every U.S. president since. An essential event for many Americans on Thanksgiving Day is the annual parade sponsored by Macy's department store, which is billed as the largest parade in the world. Held every year since 1924, the parade features performances of Broadway musicals, floats, and giant balloons of famous cartoon figures which travel aloft over the crowded streets of New York City. The parade is nationally televised and enjoyed by millions of Americans across the country, and it ends with an appearance by Santa Claus, marking for many Americans the beginning of the Christmas season. Another intrinsic part of Thanksgiving celebrations are sports. National Football League games are an essential part of the holiday for many Americans, televised nationally and watched by football fans across the country. By tradition, the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys are the two teams that always host opponents on Thanksgiving Day. In addition, many communities sponsor road running events on the holiday, known as turkey trots. So many of these events take place that Thanksgiving is now the most popular day for running races in the United States. For many Americans, Thanksgiving also has a decided religious component. The original feast was a celebration to thank God for a bountiful harvest, and many Americans continue that tradition today by attending church services on Thanksgiving. Even for those who don't attend services, it's common for many American families to say a prayer of thanks, or grace, before beginning the holiday meal. Thanksgiving is also connected with charity and service. Most American communities have drives to collect food for the poor at Thanksgiving, and many corporations and charitable organizations provide services so that everyone, no matter their financial situation, can enjoy a Thanksgiving meal. Though begun as a simple commemoration of a religious ceremony of European colonists, the Thanksgiving holiday in America has evolved to involve every aspect of American culture, including food, entertainment, commerce, sports, and religion. By influencing and incorporating so many aspects of life in the United States, Thanksgiving has truly become the most American of holidays.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our talk today on Thanksgiving. My name is Caitlin, and we're super thankful to have you here today to talk about, again, Thanksgiving. And we just watched that really great documentary, short documentary, talking about the history of Thanksgiving and then to more contemporary traditions here in America. So today, since we kind of already learned about the history and talked about the history, we will talk more about traditions in America for Thanksgiving, and I will even talk about my own traditions and my own stories surrounding Thanksgiving, and we'll do questions, we'll do answers, and yeah, just really thankful to have you here today. So as I said, that video provided a really great background already for us today on Thanksgiving. In history, contemporarily, it was to talk about giving thanks to the Native Americans for helping the Pilgrims when they settled here, but now it has evolved a lot into a much different holiday. So first, I want to ask you guys some questions. From watching that video, have you learned anything new about Thanksgiving, yes or no? And if you answer yes, what is something new you've learned about Thanksgiving that surprised you? And I will give everyone a little bit of time to answer that. And while you guys formulate your answers and you type in the chat, I will talk a little bit first about the most important Thanksgiving tradition, which is the traditional Thanksgiving meal. So there are certain dishes to Thanksgiving that are sacred that must be served at Thanksgiving. This is, of course, the turkey, as you can see on the right-hand side, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, apple pie. These are all dishes that must be served at Thanksgiving. They're just a traditional Thanksgiving meal. You don't really eat them at any other holiday except for Thanksgiving. And there are many other dishes that are served, of course, because Thanksgiving dinner is very large, but these different recipes vary from family to family. So personally, my family makes dishes such as green bean casserole, sweet potato casserole instead of mashed potatoes, and something called Watergate salad that is fruit and then pistachio pudding and then Cool Whip, so kind of like a cream mixture. And it sounds very interesting, but it is very good. It's very sweet. So again, all these vary from family to family. And some people who do not like to cook a big Thanksgiving meal go out to eat at a restaurant. And more traditionally now, contemporarily, they will go to Chinese restaurants. So buying Chinese food, eating Chinese food is very popular on Thanksgiving Day now for people who do not like to cook such a large meal. So I would just like to know if any of you have ever tried a traditional Thanksgiving recipe, whether it be cooking turkey in the way that we do for Thanksgiving, frying it, roasting it, if you've ever had pumpkin pie or any traditional Thanksgiving recipe. And if not, or even if you have, what traditional Thanksgiving food would you like to try? So I'll give everyone a minute to type their answers or any questions, possible questions into the chat. And I would say that my favorite dish on Thanksgiving, I should probably say the pie, but it's not. I would say sweet potato casserole is my favorite, just because you have the sweet potatoes and then you put marshmallows on top, cinnamon and butter. It's very great. Served warm, very good. I also do enjoy cranberry sauce, which is not a popular opinion in America. Many Americans, they will serve cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving, but it's more of a traditional, again, a traditional dish. It's not something that many people like to eat, but they just serve it because it is a traditional Thanksgiving dish. Also, personally, I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie. I would much rather have apple pie, which is also an unpopular opinion because pumpkin pie, much like turkey, is like the mascot or the hallmark dish of Thanksgiving dinner. But I'm not a big fan. And I would say my most favorite dish for Thanksgiving would be macaroni and cheese, just because it's great. It's something that you don't typically eat every day, is more of a holiday dish. So again, if you guys would like to type in the chat, if you've ever tried a Thanksgiving recipe, what did you think about it? And if not, or if you have, what traditional Thanksgiving dish or food would you like to try? And while you guys formulate that, I will move on to the next slide. So, in talking about Thanksgiving, obviously it is a very popular American holiday. It's probably the second most popular behind Christmas Day. And with that, a lot of people are traveling to go see family that they don't often see throughout the year. It's one of those gatherings that you will see family you haven't seen in years on Thanksgiving Day. So traveling is very popular, whether it's by plane or by car or by train. The airports, the highways, the interstates, the train stations, they will all be very crowded, full of people going all around the country to see their family. And traveling during this time can be super stressful, just because there's so many people going back and forth. And it is, again, the second most popular holiday and one of the most popular travel days in America. Another tradition, obviously Thanksgiving, it's called Thanksgiving, we're giving thanks, is to share what you are most grateful for. So whether it be in schools, teachers will have students craft what they're most thankful for, like on a list, different crafts like that. Or even you will sit around the dinner table with your family and you will go around one by one and list things you are most grateful for. This could be you're grateful for your health, you're grateful for your family, you're grateful for having great friends or a great job, the ability to go to school, things like that. You just list off anything that you were grateful for. And it could even just be having a new cell phone that you really wanted. People will call or text their friends and talk about what they're grateful for, send letters and things like that. And then also another very popular Thanksgiving tradition is to break the wishbone for good luck, which is what you can see here in this picture. So the wishbone, it is this V-shaped bone that's in the turkey, and once you've prepared the turkey and you've carved it and everyone has eaten pieces of the turkey, you will take out this bone, and it has those two pieces, and two people will grab each end of the bone and they will make a wish, and then they will pull apart the wishbone, and whoever has the bigger piece of the bone is said that their wish will come true, that they'll have good luck. And this is very popular amongst children. Even though I'm much older now, my family and I, we still break the wishbone at Thanksgiving, and I do believe that it brings good luck. It's a good superstition and a good tradition. So before we move on to the next one, I'm just going to read some comments that you guys have made. Maria says she's tried apple pie, but she hasn't had cranberry sauce or Watergate salad, which she'd like to try. Anna said she'd like to try pumpkin pie. Paulina said she would like to try sweet potato casserole. Turkey stuffed with duck, stuffed with chicken, tried corn, mashed potatoes. Those are all great. Personally, I've never had the turkey stuffed with duck, stuffed with chicken. I've seen it in the stores when I go shopping for Thanksgiving dinner, but I've never tried it. So I would also really like to try it just to see what it tastes like. It sounds super interesting, sounds like a lot to handle, but I would like to try it as well. Or even fried turkey. I've never had fried turkey before, which sounds very good. So I'd like to try that as well. So just some questions here. During the holidays, do you typically stay home or do you travel? So whether it be New Year's in Russia, what do you do for the holidays? And then the last question for this part is, what are you most grateful for in your life? So for me, right now I'm in Philadelphia, which is near New York City. It's up in the northeast of America, the United States. But this Thanksgiving, I will not be traveling. I will be staying here in Philadelphia just because I don't want to travel too much traffic, things like that. So I will be staying here, but I typically do travel home for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or for New Year's. And then what I'm most grateful for this year, I would say I'm grateful for being able to be back at work and back at school in person. I know with the pandemic, it's kind of been hard to do things in person. So I'm really grateful to be back in person. I'm grateful to have my health, to be healthy, for my family and my friends to be healthy. And I'm thankful that I'm able to be here with you guys. So while you type your answers, I will move on to the next part and I will read your questions and answers after. So another very popular Thanksgiving tradition in America is to watch first the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. It's a traditional parade that everybody knows about. It is aired on the television on the main station, NBC, in America. And it takes place in New York City, in Manhattan. And they walk down, and as you can see, they have these gigantic floats and these gigantic balloons, and there are performances, there are singers, Broadway performances, dancers, marching bands, and things like that. And it takes place about 2 or 3 hours, and everyone watches it. It takes place first thing in the morning on Thanksgiving Day. So while your Thanksgiving dinner is being prepared, is being cooked, you're sitting down with your family and you're watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Or when the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade gained a lot of popularity, other towns and cities decided that they wanted to start holding parades. So other major cities like Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and even smaller towns will hold their own parades, and people will take their families, they'll go and watch the parade, and they'll come back and they'll finish their dinner, finish preparing their dinner, and then they'll sit down and they'll eat their dinner. And often at the end of each parade, there will be a float, a parade float with Santa Claus on the back. And this is pretty traditional at the end of each Thanksgiving parade to signal that fall is over, Thanksgiving is over, and that winter and Christmas are coming. So it really signals the start of a new holiday season, which is Christmas season. And another popular form of traditional entertainment on Thanksgiving is to sit down and to watch American football. So even if your favorite team is not playing, it's more of just a tradition to have it on in the background while you're preparing or while you're eating your dinner, and just sit down afterwards and relax and to watch good American football. Or even Christmas movies have become popular now to watch on Thanksgiving Day, shows like the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and things like that. And before we move on, I would just like to say I have a personal experience. I have actually been to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. I went when I was younger. There were a lot of people. It was super crowded. You could easily get lost. And it was super cold because it was New York in the fall, so it was very cold. It was not snowing. I wish it was snowing, but it typically doesn't snow in New York this time of year. But it was really cool to be able to see all the different performers and the different balloons. And here they obviously look big, but you don't realize how big the floats and the balloons are until you see them in person and how much manpower it takes to control them. But it was a really great experience that I was happy to have. And this year, I won't be going to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but I will be going to a Thanksgiving parade here in Philadelphia, which will also have gigantic floats, balloons, and a lot of great performers. So just reading your comments before we move on to our next part. is Marina said she usually stays at home. She likes to spend some quality time with her family, and she's most grateful for the people she has met. And I agree, it's really great on a holiday. It's the perfect time to actually relax and to not have any other obligations and to spend time with your loved ones. And Vlad says his dream is to taste Thanksgiving turkey and visit a Thanksgiving Day parade. And Vlad, I hope your dream comes true. A Thanksgiving turkey, it's just special because even if you've ever had turkey in your life, the way that a Thanksgiving turkey is prepared, all the things that go into it, it's really great. And a Thanksgiving Day parade, it's pretty much a once in a lifetime experience just to see how enormous it is and all the different people that come to watch the floats and the balloons. So now we're going to talk about a little bit more contemporary or modern Thanksgiving Day traditions. So first we have the turkey trot race, which you can see here in this picture. We have a man who's dressed like a turkey. And these are short races, about 5 kilometers, that are ran either on Thanksgiving Day or shortly prior to Thanksgiving Day, so the days leading up to Thanksgiving Day. People often will dress in costumes, as you can see here, to get in the holiday spirit. And many like running the race because they say it's a good way to exercise before they eat such a large dinner. But also many of them will raise money that will go to churches or local organizations that will be able to donate the money and put it towards feeding people who may not be able to afford a Thanksgiving dinner or might be homeless. So that leads us into our next part, which is another more modern Thanksgiving Day tradition, which is volunteering at local churches or homeless shelters to hold a food drive or to hold a drive where they give away meals. So it is a great way to express gratitude and to give back on your community on a day that is about being thankful. Many people like to help others and give back on this day, as I just said, and these local organizations will either collect canned goods, so canned peas, canned corn, canned carrots, canned green beans, things that are non-perishable, that can't go bad, that can't rot, or they will collect food and they will cook it and serve it. So either way, it's really just about giving back to your community. And where I live, for me personally, we collect canned food on Thanksgiving Day and we put it out by our mailbox, and a volunteer will come around and collect all of the canned goods and take it to the local church, and then they will then distribute it to others who are less fortunate and cannot have a traditional Thanksgiving meal. So we're coming to one of our last traditions here in America on Thanksgiving Day. Many of you may have heard of the chaos of Black Friday. Contemporarily, you can't have Thanksgiving in America without Black Friday. So you just had a really great Thanksgiving dinner, you've talked with all your friends and family, you've watched the parade on TV, or you went and saw a parade in person, you've watched American football, you've watched some movies, and now you're napping and you're looking through the newspaper and you're seeing all of these different ads that are talking about what's on sale. And this is called Black Friday. So Black Friday is something, as I said, that has become just as important to Americans as Thanksgiving itself. So years ago, Black Friday was specifically for the day after Thanksgiving, hence the name Black Friday. But today, because Black Friday is so big, it extends to Thursday. So the day of Thanksgiving, there's a Black Friday sale, the weekend, and even the Monday after Thanksgiving, which is now called Cyber Monday, because it takes place on the internet. You order things online. So for those who might not know what Black Friday is, you might be asking, what is Black Friday? What does this mean? So Black Friday is a day where the stores all around the country, every single store, offer really big or great sales on their products. So these are sales where you get 70% off. So a television that might have been $2,000 is now only $800. So these are really great sales that people love to go and take advantage of, because for Christmas, obviously you're giving gifts, and sometimes you just like to buy something for yourself. So years ago, early 2000s, when the sale was only on Friday, People would line up super late at night or early in the morning and wait for stores to open on Friday in order to buy items such as, again, televisions, a lot of electronics, clothes, toys for very cheap. And as you can see in this picture, there's a very long line in a department store. I don't know what they're lined up to buy. And then in the top picture, you can see people kind of fighting for TVs, trying to get a television, probably because it's super cheap. But now, since it extends into Thanksgiving, people will often eat their Thanksgiving dinner quite early in the day. I would say about 1 p.m. And then they will rest and they will nap and they will look through the newspaper to see the different sale ads, see what sales they can take advantage of, what stores to go to. And then they will go and line up outside the stores at the end of Thanksgiving Day and wait for them to open on Thanksgiving Day. And it's quite chaotic, as you can see. And Black Friday is the largest shopping day in the US, and again, is known for the absolute chaos, but it's all in good fun, I would say. Everyone loves a good deal. So I have some more questions for everyone. Do you think any of these traditions seem odd? If so, why do you think they seem odd? And which Thanksgiving tradition that you learned about today do you like the most? And while you guys type your answers in the chat, I will look at the chat and I will talk about my own opinion. So Rami said, usually I'll stay home with my family. I'm most grateful for my parents because they give me the possibility to make my own future without any difficulties in my way. My family even helped me to visit the United States during my education. I really appreciate their help. That is very sweet and that is very great. Maria says, today I'm grateful for the beautiful weather, good tea, and health. Anna said, I'm grateful for being safe and sound during this crazy year. I usually spend the holidays with my family. And Marina said, it's always nice to spend some quality time with my family. I'm most grateful for the people I have met. Those are all great answers, really in the Thanksgiving spirit. I'm glad that you are enjoying some beautiful weather here in Philadelphia. It is very cold. I think it's about 0 degrees Celsius today, so quite cold for me. I'm from the South in America, which is typically very warm, very hot, even during the winter. So the cold has really shocked me. So grateful for beautiful weather. And again, quality time with family. That's what the holidays are all about. So while you guys type your answers to these questions in the chat, honestly, personally, I would say that Black Friday seems like an odd tradition to me. Just because I think of Thanksgiving or any holiday like Christmas or New Year's to be about spending time with your loved ones, with your family and your friends, and not out in the weather and the cold, braving the chaos and lining up for consumer goods. But that's just me personally. So I think Black Friday is kind of an odd tradition. I'd much rather be at home than stressed out at a store trying to buy things. And the Thanksgiving tradition I like most, I would say I have a few. Obviously, the Thanksgiving dinner, best tradition ever. You get to eat this great big dinner and not feel guilty about it. But I'd also say the parade is my favorite tradition just because the entertainment aspect, it reminds you of being a kid. Everyone out there is enjoying one singular thing, and it's just a really happy, great environment to be a part of. Olga says, a good tradition is to meet with family and have them all come together. I agree. I like that all family members get together on Thanksgiving. That's very sweet. I agree. Again, I agree. Because even on Christmas, it's either Thanksgiving or Christmas where people will get together, and Christmas can be a little bit harder because you want to spend it at your own house with your own children and things like that. Or you might have other family you go and see on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. But Thanksgiving is one that you can really get together with family you haven't seen in quite a bit. There's a little bit less stress on Thanksgiving than there is on Christmas. And another tradition I didn't put in the slide, but I'd like to talk about is called Friendsgiving. So instead of Thanksgiving, it's called Friendsgiving. It's more modern, more contemporary, very popular amongst young people who are far away from their families or their parents. So on Friendsgiving, you will get together with the name Friends, you will get together with your friends, and it's kind of a potluck situation, which means everyone brings their own food, their own dish, and you just enjoy together, which is what this picture right here of the famous cartoon Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is showing. They had a Friendsgiving where all the friends got together and they had popcorn and things like that. And you can see Snoopy had buttered toast. But also Friendsgiving is not just popular amongst young people. Older people also participate in Friendsgiving, but typically Friendsgiving is before Thanksgiving Day. So Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday, so Friendsgiving might be on that Monday, that Tuesday, that Wednesday, or even the weekend prior. So I will let you guys keep sending things in the chat here, any questions or any comments. And I would just want to talk to you guys about my own personal experiences. So I'm going to exit out of the slide. Oh, we'll move on to that slide in a moment. Actually, we'll read it now. So all the way. Did you learn about a new Thanksgiving tradition? What does Thanksgiving mean to you now that you know more about Thanksgiving and the traditions, not just the history behind Thanksgiving, what Americans typically do on Thanksgiving? What do you think about it now? And then finally, would you like to celebrate Thanksgiving? Why? Yes or no? Why or why not? Vlad, the most amazing tradition of Thanksgiving for you is a parade. I agree. I'm with you on that one. I think it's my favorite as well, besides the food. And while I leave these questions up for you guys to look at, to read, and to answer in the chat, I will kind of talk about my own family traditions, stories, experiences. So a typical day for my family on Thanksgiving Day in our house is wake up super early, around 8 a.m., which is pretty early for me. And we turn on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and we watch it. And my mom will go and put the turkey in the oven. It's probably been in the oven for a few hours now. And my parents will keep an eye on it. And while we're watching the parade, we're together, enjoying each other's company, and we start preparing the other dishes. So the mashed potatoes, the corn, the green bean casserole, the sweet potato casserole, the pies, things like that, getting everything ready for the day. Then once the parade is over, the National Dog Show comes on. So this is where everyone brings their beautiful dogs that are very well trained, and they compete in a competition to see who is the best dog out of all of them. So we watch that, and then we start preparing the table. So we're setting the table with silverware, with our dishes. We're getting dressed. We're hanging up decorations, because my grandparents and my aunt and my uncles and my cousins typically come to our house for Thanksgiving Day. So once we've cleaned and we set everything up, we then have my family come over and they bring their food that they've cooked. My grandmother, she makes really great rolls. She makes great cranberry sauce. She makes amazing potatoes. She's a very great cook. So we set all the food out. And once all the food is prepared and set out, then we sit down and we enjoy a Thanksgiving meal with one another. We catch up. We talk about the news. We talk about pop culture. We talk about things we did the day before. We talk about what we're going to buy on Black Friday and things like that. So then after we eat, we take a break because you've eaten a lot. And then we watch a little bit of football. We watch some movies. We go out and we take a walk around the neighborhood to kind of burn off all those calories because you're feeling really full from eating all of that food. And then we come back and we eat dessert. So we typically have apple pie with vanilla ice cream. We'll have pumpkin pie with cream. And then there's usually a cake or something like that for people who do not enjoy pie. So then we enjoy our dessert. And then after that, we nap. We wait and we nap because we're waiting for Black Friday. So my family does typically go out Black Friday shopping. So we're looking through newspaper ads, we're resting, we're deciding what stores we want to go to, what sales seem the best. And then we go out for Black Friday shopping, which is typically, again, chaos, but it's great fun. And then at home, my dad, after Thanksgiving dinner, my father, he typically puts up our Christmas tree because for my father, the end of Thanksgiving means the beginning of Christmas. So he puts up the Christmas tree, and then we come home from Black Friday shopping and we decorate our Christmas tree, which will be up for a month until the end of Christmas Day. So we have another comment. I'd like to celebrate Thanksgiving, but it's pretty intimidating for me to cook a turkey. Sounds pretty hard. I would agree. So, in preparation, I don't know how many of you know how a Thanksgiving turkey is prepared. I don't necessarily know all of what goes into it, but it is pretty hard. So, typically, people buy the Thanksgiving turkey pretty early, like very early prior to Thanksgiving, like weeks before Thanksgiving, and they'll keep it in the freezer and it's humongous. I mean, depending on how many guests you're going to have, how much family you have, the turkey will be very big. Um, so then the day before Thanksgiving, you need to take it out of the freezer and you have to defrost it, you have to thaw it out. And then you have to baste it. Most people do this dish, it's called stuffing. So it's like breadcrumbs and different spices, and they put that in the turkey. So once the stuffing is in the turkey and they've basted it, they season the turkey and it's all thawed out. On Thanksgiving Day, it will go in the oven and it will cook. But because the turkey is so big, it needs to cook for such a long time. So I know my parents, when they cook a Thanksgiving turkey, they typically wake up about 4 in the morning to cook the turkey. And the turkey is usually finished around midday, so about 12 p.m. So it takes quite a lot of work and a lot of time. It's not just a lot of work, but it's a lot of time just waiting and hoping that the Thanksgiving turkey is perfect, because the turkey is the centerpiece. So if it's not perfect, it's just like your whole day is kind of off kilter. The turkey needs to be perfect. So Maria says Thanksgiving, as she sees it, when you have the opportunity to share with people what you're grateful for and what unites them. I agree, Maria. I think you really hit it on the head. It is for people just to share their thanks, what they're grateful for, and kind of to look past any negative things that are going on currently in life and to unite them in these positive aspects. So I've never heard about charity activities. For example, you said that you put canned goods outside of your house and volunteers pick them up afterwards. Yeah, again, I would say it's a more definitely volunteering and charity activities have been a thing during Thanksgiving, but now I think they're gaining a lot more popularity all around the country. So, not just on Thanksgiving Day will people go and volunteer to serve food or to pick up canned goods, but also the days prior to Thanksgiving, people will go and donate canned goods, collect canned goods, or cook meals for people who are less fortunate. And I think that's a really great new tradition that people are starting to participate in, which I think is what the holiday is all about. And yeah, I told you guys pretty much about my Thanksgiving Day traditions. Um, Participate in Black Friday, we rest, and again, it's kind of the beginning of Christmas for us. Like the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas decorations are up everywhere. Christmas music is being played on the radio, in the car. Christmas movies are on all of the channels on television. So I would say, well, Thanksgiving is the most American holiday, in my opinion, very unique American holiday. Most Americans kind of see it as a day to eat food, to go shopping, and then marks the beginning of the Christmas season. And that is the end of my slideshow for everybody. But I would like to hear more of your thoughts and opinions about Thanksgiving, kind of what questions you have surrounding Thanksgiving, still traditions. If you have any particular questions for me, so more about what my family does for Thanksgiving, or just any comments. Would you like to celebrate Thanksgiving? Will you start celebrating Thanksgiving? Things like that. I would say this year, I said I'm not going to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I am going to the Philadelphia Parade here in Philly, which is also a very big parade that has many floats and balloons. And then my friend will be here in Philadelphia with me. I won't be with my family this year just because traveling is too much and I'm in school right now. So I thought it'd be better to stick to where I'm based for school. So my friend will be here and we're going to cook a traditional Thanksgiving meal. Instead of turkey, we're going to make a roasted chicken. We're going to make a sweet potato casserole, macaroni and cheese, a green bean casserole. We're going to have bread. We'll have stuffing, which are those little breadcrumbs that, again, they go in the turkey. They're really, really great. They have really great seasoning. And we're going to, of course, have pie, so both apple and pumpkin pie. And we'll have not cranberry sauce, but we'll have cranberry juice. And I think it'll be a really great time. We're just going to be able to spend time with one another. I have not seen her in quite a bit, so it'll be good to catch up. Oh, thank you, Maria. Maria says, thanks to you, Caitlin. I got to know many interesting things about Thanksgiving. Thank you guys for being present, for listening to me, and being eager to learn more about Thanksgiving Day. Your parents wake up at 4 to cook a turkey. They are heroes. They are heroes, because without them, Thanksgiving Day would not be as great as it is. They truly make a lot of sacrifices for Thanksgiving Day to wake up so early, because it's such a long day. Never heard of the turkey run. Again, it's a newer tradition. So not a tradition I like to participate in, because on Thanksgiving Day, I'd rather relax and rest at home. But some people, like my mother, she loves to exercise and to run. She runs long distances. So to do the turkey run is something that she thinks is really fun, which I don't think, but I love to watch her and to support her. I think it's really great that some people like to do that. Someone said, yes, I did learn a lot about Thanksgiving. I even try to apply some Thanksgiving traditions in their life. They want to celebrate Thanksgiving because they want to understand American traditions and see something new in their life, which I agree. I think it's good to incorporate different traditions from different cultures. Definitely one like Thanksgiving, which the core of Thanksgiving, what Thanksgiving really means is just to be grateful. Again, giving thanks, to give thanks to all the people in your life, all of the great things in your life. It's all about just kind of sitting and meditating on the fact that you have a lot of positive things in your life, and to relax and not go to work and to eat great food with people you love. It's all just a really great holiday. So I would say it's a really great new thing to incorporate in your life. But I will wait around to see if there's any more questions or comments. Anything else you want to know about Thanksgiving traditions in America, about Black Friday, about the turducken, the turkey and the duck and the chicken, or anything like that. But other than that, I'm really happy that you all were excited and eager to learn about Thanksgiving today, and to more importantly learn about Thanksgiving traditions. And I hope that you all incorporate some Thanksgiving traditions in your life.